ready to talk about this wonderful, wonderful book. It's just such a great book. I love it so much.
I finally got on Storygraph after I don't know how long, and I saw what you rated it, and I literally laughed out loud.
I copy and pasted my Goodreads review in here because it was actually kind of very funny. Like, it was 2 sentences, but it was so funny. I was like, yes, that was hilarious. Give it to me. Hi. Ready for me to talk about this shit. Hello, welcome to a Fish and Flower podcast. I'm Flower, a bitch who likes to traumatize herself. I hate this book, but at least I get to traumatize the fish while talking about it. So, friendship.
Something like that.
Also, the fish can see me right now, which is not normal. So, you know,
Did you say Kiki?
no,
I just said that to quiet it down.
no.
What a Doctor Who gigantic mug.
Yes. Do you have something to say about my Doctor Who mug and my Captain Marvel T-shirt?
Yeah, you fucking nerd.
um. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, my name is Fish, aka Stingray, and I'm the only bitch you'll meet who gets stung by a wasp in November.
Accurate. This is Stream of Conscious
Also, I
podcast.
got sick at my brother's wedding.
This is Stream of Conscious podcast, which is very similar to how we talk to each other on a daily basis. On today's episode, we have another Jenika Snow. If you ever listened to this podcast before, you will know Jenika Snow from the Goldilocks episode that traumatized me. This one did not reach that level. Okay. This is a BEARy Happily Ever After. It's the last book in a bear shifter romance series, but it can be read as a standalone. I'm not reading the rest of the series. I'm not reading another Jenika Snow ever.
You should have done that 3 books ago, babe.
I know. Listen, after the Goldilocks one, I saw the title of this one and I went, I love puns. Let me go read this. And then planned it for the podcast. And here I am, a year later, hating myself. Because what the fuck is this shit? Speaking of episodes and books that low-key traumatized me but were very funny, and very funny episodes that not enough people listen to, I recommended Your Dad Will Do to someone, and he's reading it and enjoying it. So, because he asked for, like, one of those, like, bad but good, smutty books, but one that isn't monster smut. And so I was like, okay, the only one I can think of is Your Dad Will Do. And so we pulled it up. And he's like, this is exactly what I wanted. This is the shit I wanted. And I'm like, just wait. Ooh, that ending.
I need everybody to know I'm also on fucking vinegar right now. So, usually if I'm on medicine or if I'm sick, the podcast is real fucking interesting. So we're gonna see what happens.
Yes.
I'll probably just pass out.
I would like to thank the giant box of Franzia my mom bought me for getting me through this book. I appreciate it. I jokingly was like, get me wine when you go to the store, knowing I was going to read this book that night, and then she actually did. I would like everyone to know the first line in my notes is pray for me. I wrote that before I opened the book. Also, I didn't read the synopsis before I read the book. Until I went to download it and I read the line about him being a virgin waiting for his mate, and I was like, hello?
Me too.
And then there was we gotta talk about, listen, I don't like Jenika Snow's writing. It gives me the ick. I can't put my finger on it.
I agree.
But this one, while this one did not traumatize me the way the Goldilocks one did, this one traumatized me in the ick factor. Trust me, you will be able to notice in the notes. So this book immediately starts with Damon. That's his name. Yes,
At
I
least
did
that's
picture him
what
as Damon
normal name.
Salvatore.
Yeah. I've never even watched that fucking show. I was like, Damon Salvatore?
Literally. And then he's walking the woods thinking about how he's still a virgin, waiting for a mate, and how it totally doesn't bother him. But oh, he's so jealous of his brother's woman. Meanwhile, who knows when he'll find his woman? Are you getting the vibe already? Are you getting the vibe? Um, listen,
I just
hear
thought
me
about
out.
that one scene in the Bees.
All the men in this book. Listen, I'll be real. There's only 3 characters. It's her and then the 2 men. That she has to choose between. Both of the men give me. They listen to the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, God.
Yup. Anyways, 2 pages in, and he spots Rue, and whoops, he found his mate. So apparently it wasn't that fucking hard. He literally just had to go in a walk in the woods. Like, what the hell? But oh, guess what? We get to learn how hard
If
he
you
is
could do
looking
that,
at
that'd
her.
be amazing.
It's like 2 pages in, and you're already reading about how hard his cock is. Just look.
Oh.
Yeah, just looking at her, and I quote, "lean yet curvy body." I faceplanted
What does
very
that
hard.
mean?
I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? There's a lot of moments reading this where I literally just threw my Kindle or just dropped my Kindle and put my hands up and I was like, I can't. And then I had to scroll through Instagram for 5 minutes. And that's usually when I would message you being like, what the fuck am I reading?
You only did that like twice. I was concerned.
Rue, I would like to note this book, depending on what edition you have, I don't know. I guess my edition was technically the 100-page one, but somehow there's an edition that's shorter than Sweet Sin, and it felt like it took 10 times as long. So love that. Her name is Rue. Obviously, I thought of Rue from the Hunger Games, and then that caused a lot of issues in my head.
Yeah.
So she's swimming with her male family friend, whose name is Ronnie. Ronnie's whole thing is that he consistently hits on her and tries to make advances no matter how much she turns him down. But she doesn't want to ruin their friendship even if he makes her uncomfortable. And then I wrote, girl, I know. And then I wrote, girl, get out of there. Anyways, he's pushing her hair behind her ear and doing it again. Hey, hey, what's that sound? It's Damon charging at Ronnie.
I'm
Um,
just gonna picture Damon Salvatore the whole time, and I think that's
I know
problematic.
it's really bad too, cause like he has a beard and he's wearing like it's very much not Damon Salvatore build. But my brain's like Damon Salvatore, cause what other Damon is there in the universe, right?
So
Like
I
there's
actually
only
haven't
one.
watched this show either, and I'm like, oh, him.
Yeah, you should. I feel like you should. I feel like you would get obsessed.
Probably.
But then again, I say that about Hannibal, and you still haven't watched it.
Listen.
I would like to remind you, the guy who created Chucky worked on Hannibal, so.
I just don't like watching TV by myself. I don't know why.
I'll watch it with you if you want me to make it my whole personality for a year again.
No.
Exactly.
What's that?
um. So, I would like to know during the next 3 sentences I write or talk about. He body slams Ronnie so hard Ronnie goes flying. I did laugh. I laughed very loud, and then he starts pounding into Ronnie. And while this is happening, she internally is calling him so male. I question what the fuck that means.
I know. No. When females, that's a little. Anyway, when the ladies in the romance was he's so manly, he's such a man, his full manliness. Man, he's such a hairy, big old man. I'm like,
Literally, it was written
whoa.
like I had no way to describe him except so male, and I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna picture him as the least masculine man I can.
I can do straight romances till they start talking like that. That's like one of the biggest reasons I didn't like It Happened One Summer.
Oh gosh, don't remind me of that book.
You would probably rather read that than this again.
Yeah, no. When that happened, I was like, watch. If they don't call him Damon in a chapter, I'm just gonna picture him as Timothy Chalamet because apparently, so male means whatever the hell I want. So, Timothy Chalamet, not particularly masculine man, so let me just picture him as that now.
Of course you find him attractive.
Yes. So, we get the typical "you're mine" scene. He pushes her up against a tree and
I
kisses
thought you were going to say
her.
your mom scene.
Kisses her against a tree, and then, she leaves. And then it's a sudden time jump. We're not talking about it. Now he's thinking
No.
about how difficult it was to leave her behind when she's the one that left. Like, sir, are you okay? Like, he's rewriting what happened in his head. Like, he's very much like, consent is very important to me. As right after beating up her friend right in front of her, he pushes her up against a tree and forcefully kissed her. Um, and it's giving, it was so difficult to walk away from her when she's the one that walked away, but it's supposed to be like he walked away because he didn't go after her and take her as his then and there. Yup. So his brother comes for a visit, so we learn they're mated, but since they didn't bang, the claiming ritual wasn't done. And I'm gonna be honest here, the bear shifter aspect, literally no part in this. Minus the whole mating thing, but you could have done like the whole mating thing without it actually having to be shifter. It just could have been like he's obsessed with her. It gave a little bit of it gave a little bit of hunting Adeline at one part where he's like basically stalking her, and I was like, okay, so we could have just done that without the shifter. Like, what the hell is this? Anyways, uh,
There has to be a bitch.
Damon's head is very scary. Damon's head is very scary thinking about how he is going to force her to realize by proximity that she needs to be with him and he will never relent or give up.
Get some help.
Anyways, I'm 25% through this book and I have yet to see this man's turned into a bear 0 out of 10.
I agree.
Somehow she knows he's a bear shifter. And no one at their campsite, including his family, questions why Ronnie was beat to a bloody pulp. It is at a later chapter brought up that they just said that he tripped and fell. And that he just has a black eye. I would like to know, Damon was like punching me in the face continuously for like 5 minutes. Anyway, she senses Damon in the woods watching her, so she goes to see him. This is the hunting Adeline part, yep. The way I immediately let out an exasperated sigh and dropped my Kindle and just put my hands up like I was surrendering when he smelt her virginity.
What the fuck? How did that go? What do you mean? What?
Apparently it's smellable. I don't. Oh god. I forgot to bring up the whole aspect where she's thinking about how her whole life, whenever she goes down on her, she has some fun playtime by herself, right?
I need a nap.
She thinks of like a faceless man, but now after meeting Damon, she realizes the man she was picturing was Damon all along. Anyways, questionable consent when it comes to how the mating bond works and how she will have to give him everything he wants.
Sure.
And then he calls her baby girl, and I just wrote ew with a lot of W's.
I agree.
Every time somebody, like a masculine man, calls this meek small woman baby girl now, I just think of the first 365 days and that "Are you lost, baby girl?" that became a meme. God, that was so funny. So Ronnie gives it one more try despite overhearing all the mate stuff. And she turns him down, obviously. And she's like, "It's a real shame. He should meet somebody nice. It's a real shame because like if you meet somebody like, it's a real shame I'm into Damien because I wouldn't mind being with him because he's just a nice guy." And I'm like, he's been pressuring you into a relationship for your whole entire friendship. What the fuck are you talking about? So she meets up with Damon again, and then they go to his cabin to bang-a-lang. And this is where, oh god, this part, this is my favorite part about this is you can see all my live reactions. Apparently, not only is he a virgin, which is Everything's fine. He has never, ever, not once gotten himself off.
What? Are you serious? Are you serious?
When I read the line about how his first time coming will be in her, I started hysterically laughing.
I don't think I can laugh at this.
I was dying. I was like, this broke me. Like, what the hell? So they're like heavily making out in his bed, and she's like, I'm not your property, and he says he'll find her no matter what. It kind of gives the Charmings in Once Upon a Time, but if one of them was MAGA. So, loving that. Um, speaking of which, now we have the breeding kink, which is common for Jenika Snow. And I wrote, not in this country, somebody let me out. Listen, I've read breeding kink, not my thing, but I've read it, done well. I think the Kraken smut actually had it at one point, but there was this whole thing where she had this magical necklace that made it impossible. So like they did it knowing that there was no actual possibility, so it was just like the fantasy aspect, and that I'm fine with. Like when you both understand it's not actually gonna happen, it's a fantasy aspect. No, it's like he's going to put a baby in her one way or another, so help him.
I kind of get the breeding kink in like monster romances or like shifter romances because they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The rest is just weird.
Listen, and the Goldilocks one, it was worse because they also had nodding. I don't know how, but they did. So just 3 times in a row, just doing that. Yeah. Anyways, now we have the purity kink. We love it. We love it. And by we love it, I mean get me the fuck out. And then I questioned where Damon was on January 6th. I'm not sorry. That's the vibe he gives the whole book. And I was just like, I am scared for her. Okay? And then it's a chapter and a half of just foreplay. And then they finally bang. And all I can say is I'm tired just reading about it. And then
I'm tired too.
And then the next chapter is her meeting his family. At which point, I threw my Kindle across my bed when he mentions she's already pregnant. It's been like a week. Epilogue is just typical Jenika Snow, where they already have a kid and she's pregnant again, and they're just still happy and cue me throwing up.
I agree.
Okay, 1.5 stars. This wasn't offensive, so not 1 star, but it was offensive to my eyes. And then tears may have happened. I became hysterical at one point. I was actually hysterical, and then at one point I was actually crying over how bad it was. Like it was. My sister kept on telling me to just stop reading it. I was like, no, I'm already halfway through. Like I'm at the point where I will have spent more time reading it than it would have taken me to finish it. So I might as well just push through and suffer. And people were clapping for me for suffering through it and finishing it. It was a thing. Also, I realized once, not once did he turn into a bear. Like, he was animalistic during sex, but I wanted to see him turn into a bear and give her rise through the forest. And then I realized that happens in the Unbroken trilogy. Or Unbound, or whatever. I was like, wait a second, that's like one of the first scenes of her seeing him as a bear is her literally riding on his back. And then I was like, wait a second. And I was like, that was a good shifter romance. Right, those exist. At least the first one. Anyways, hated this book, bye. And I'm never reading a Jenika Snow again.
Yay.
I would like to note the fish tried very hard to make this not happen. They tried so hard, and then I started it, and I was like 5 pages in, I was like, you know, I know you tried your hardest to stop this from happening, but I'm still blaming you. Because, like, what the hell did I read? Why do I do this to myself? At least it's a short episode. Do you have any final thoughts about this hellish book I read?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna do a quick search and make sure I don't have any more Jenika Snows on my TBR.
That's a good idea. I took 9 books
Remember
off my
that?
TV.
I'm
Just
so
scrolling
proud.
through.
I've been going through cleaning out mine as well, and the fact that I found a Colleen Hoover, and I was immediately like, "What the fuck is this doing here?" Like, BEARy, I do plan to read at some point, but it was like, it ends with us, and I was like, "Why is this here?"
I
Get out.
read Heartbones before I knew anything about Colleen Hoover. I did enjoy the book. It was a little weird, obviously, but like it was still a good book. So
Okay,
I
so
do
like,
think she has like at least a few good books, but overall it's just like what the fuck.
I do
Like
have
I
another
cried
Jenika
when
Snow.
I read Heartbones.
What's this one? Um, what the
Like I would
hell?
reread it.
He. Okay, this I have another Jenika Snow on my TBR. And she's 18. He's over 200 years old. Um, she's a vampire, and he's the Scottish king of werewolves. I vote I remove this. I vote this goes bye bye.
So once I remove with this like from scrolling through, I need to actually go through and look
I
look,
don't think
you
I
know.
need to read this. Let me
I
make
don't think
sure
so.
I don't actually fucking own it, because if I do accidentally own it, I will read it. Because that's the type of person I am.
You got issues in your head.
Yes. Well, if I already own it for $0.00, I might as well fucking read it. Okay, it's not one I own. It's
Good.
going and goodbye. It's deleted off my Notion page. It's leaving Goodreads. Now I gotta remove it from Storygraph. There. Making my TBR smaller, because I keep on adding more books to my TBR. It's kind of an issue.
So proud.
I know, right? Look at me go. Remove book. There we go. No more Jenika Snows. She is gone. Thank you, thank you. Because you know I would have done it. You know I would have done it if it was on my TBR. I would have been like, ooh, I don't need that in my life.
No.
And with that, I thought I'd go stream video games because I want to play Planet Crafter again. I have issues. I have issues. I hyper focused on a video game again.
I noticed.
Listen, it's not my fault because I didn't buy the game. Somebody else bought me this game. I was like, I don't need this game because then I will hyperfixate. And then he bought it for me. That bitch.
Can you hear in the soundtrack?
Hi, Bella. You want to come say hi to the podcast? She says, hi, I went for a walkie. Yeah, you went for a walkie. My puppy's cute. Oh, like you can see her because I have my thing up.
I see her. Oh, now I see her.
There she is. Hi. Ah!
Now. Oh, I thought she was gonna run away.
Now she's leaving. Now she's leaving. And that's my dog for you. Alright. Goodbye, sweet podcast. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Oh, promote us, links below. Things, places. The end.
I basically do nothing, so might as well not even. I don't know.
I do things sometimes. That's a lie.
Sometimes.
I do things a lot of the time.